Patrick.
I'm Caitlin.
This is our first video.
Yeah.
So figured we'd try out a little bit of YouTube action, capture the process of building things out here.
Yeah, we've been contemplating doing this for a while, just to, one, really just for ourselves, because like 5 people will probably never watch this. And that'll be our family.
That's probably right.
But we bought 15 acres in Tennessee, East Tennessee, about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, a little over a year ago.
Yeah. We've been wanting to do some videos, but it felt very daunting with everything we had to do. We bought bare land, so basically no water, no septic, no power, any of that. So we've done all that ourselves. We run solely off of solar power.
Yep, rainwater catchment.
Rainwater catchment for our water needs. We could have dug a well, but with the cost of it and being at 2,200 feet elevation, which for you guys out west, that's nothing, but here
in Tennessee, it's pretty good.
So the depth that we would have had to dig the well, the cost, and the fact that we may or may not have water, we decided to go ahead and do rainwater catchment, which with the 48 inches of rain we get a year on average. Yeah,
we live in the perfect area. We're in a temperate rainforest technically, so we get a lot of rain each year, and it just seemed like a logical, cost-effective way to get water.
Yeah, and so far it's been the one thing that's worked very well for us.
Yeah.
Everything else has been a little bit of a challenge, but we're getting there. We're learning everything each day. We're learning more each day. Mm-hmm. And as you can see behind us, we have this beautiful view. We first came to the property. This was not here at all.
This is all woods.
Like what you see over here. So we spent last winter clearing all of this for lumber.
Firewood.
Yeah, firewood, lumber, wood chips, just all kinds of things around the property.
Personal enjoyment.
Mainly for the view. Yeah.
Exactly.
What we're standing on right now is the deck that we built in the last few months. But yeah.
Yeah. So come along with us. Yeah.
We're gonna do a quick little tour.
We'll show you everything we've done in the last year and a half ish, and hopefully this is the start of a good new journey.
Yeah. Recent projects.
Our most recent project,
yeah,
actually.
We actually just finished it last week or this week.
Yeah, last week.
Yeah, we started it last spring because we do not like working in the summer. It's too hot here.
We don't have a whole lot of cover, so when it gets into the 80s and 90s and the sun beats down, it's almost dangerous to work out here.
Especially with our gravel, it kind of absorbs the sun and it makes it even hotter up here. Yep. It's great for solar power, which we're very thankful for, but at the same time it makes it extremely dangerous, I would say, to work out here.
It gets very overwhelming and hot,
humidity,
and yeah, the high humidity kind of sucks the moisture out of you. So we really only put a lot of effort into working in probably spring and fall and some winter when it's comfortable enough to be outside.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the deck. It's a 12 by 12. We built it freestanding, separate from any other structure.
We didn't originally plan to build a deck here. We're gonna build a house one day, but we are gonna have a porch off of that. But once we cleared all of these trees, we thought it was the perfect spot for a garden to be down below. And then after looking at it, we extended our driveway quite a bit, at least probably 15, 20.
Probably 20 feet.
Yeah, something like that, 15 or 20 feet this way. So we have more room to maneuver, especially once the house is built. But this allowed us, we kind of had a thought, or I did, or you, I don't remember who thought of it. But
probably both of us, but mostly you.
I was like, we should build a deck. So we decided to go ahead and build this deck, which, because of the way we live in our camper right now, and we have a small shed that we use as kind of like a living room office. But this allowed us to have more outdoor space that we could be comfortable in until we build the house. So it seemed like something that we should go ahead and do. And I mean, we've spent a lot of time out here. In the summer, it's a little bit hard because, again, it's so hot and the sun beats on this area pretty much the whole day. Yeah. So, yeah, we just finished it, and right now it's covered, but we have a nice little sofa area that we built. We probably should have covered that.
Yeah, it's all right. We can show it. Yeah. The whole point of this was to enjoy nature a bit more. That was one of the big motivating factors upon moving up here to East Tennessee in the mountains, is we're not really cut out for this. Would you like to introduce what you built in?
So my mother-in-law helped, or me and my mother-in-law and I built this woodshed.
This was
last winter / early spring.
This was an early project. It was after we cleared the area down below because we needed a place to store any excess firewood we had when we moved here and that we cleared.
Well, all the firewood, or all the wood that we had down where we cut all the trees, we needed a place to be able to store it, because once we build the house, we're going to have a wood-burning stove. So ideally, once the house is built, this will be full of lumber, which, to be fair, if we were to go clean up everything that we've cut down and store it, it would probably fill this 2 times.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, this is just our firewood storage for now. The house will sit not too far from here, so we won't have to truck it too far, which is part of the reason that we did it this way. But yeah, this is just where we store our firewood and a few other things as we're working outside, so they can stay out of the weather.
Yep.
That'll be it.
You recording? Oh, okay.
I want to get a shot of you.
Welcome to our 4-wheeler shed.
Yeah, so this is something, again, we didn't really plan. I mean, every time we build something on the property, a lot of it we had planned, like the wood shed, but then, you know, we bought a 4-wheeler not too long after we moved up here just to help us with moving a lot of different things, gravel, whatever it may be.
Emergency trips to the grocery store if we get snowed in.
Fair, yeah, there's a little gas station that sells, like, minimal groceries down at the end of our very gnarly road to get up here.
Yeah.
So if we had to go out and it was snowing, we could do that. But basically, this is just a shed that stores the 4-wheeler, a lot of our hand tools that we use up on this side of the property. We've got an auger back there, a wood chipper, and some chainsaws as well. Just kind of a catch-all for different projects we have around the property, and mostly just to keep our 4-wheeler out of the weather.
That and all of our tools that may get damaged.
The 4-wheeler shed. Oh, I did forget to mention, off of the wood shed, we do have a rainwater catchment back there. And this is strictly for the garden area. So the rainwater comes off into this 275 gallon IBC tote, and we've got just an external, what do you call it? Water hose right now. Probably won't ever put that underground just because it's seasonal, so we just kind of take it in and out as needed. As you can see, I don't really have a great setup right now for the garden hose. It's kind of just on the ground, but
it was more organized during actual gardening season, let's be fair.
Yeah, we kind of gave up on the garden a little bit ago, but so in those totes, we've got a timer. We do have
it's like a drip irrigation
system. It does okay. Like, if we're not going to be here, it's better than getting no water if it's not going to rain. But inside of that yellow box there's a 12-volt pump, a lawnmower battery, and then a little charge controller that solar panel tops off. So basically, you can go in there, turn the water on, start spraying the garden, and not have to. For a while, we were carrying 8 different buckets back and forth to be able to water the garden, and that got old pretty quick, so we installed the tank over there so that we could just come down here and water it and not have to have such a hard time trying to keep our garden going. To give you a little better idea of the layout of everything, so the deck is over here, the wood shed, the 4-wheeler shed, and then this monstrosity over here.
It's literally a monstrosity.
Is our 1987 Volkswagen Vanagon camper van. I've always loved these. It's the pop top where you can sleep 4 people.
For those of you who know, it's a Westphalia edition.
If you know. Yeah, if you know what it is, you know what it is. So we'll probably drop some pictures in here to show you guys what that looks like. But we bought that in the last, I guess, a little less than a year ago.
It was almost a year ago. It was in December of last year.
Yeah, we've had to tinker with it, put some money into it, but she's good to go, and hopefully we'll be able to do some trips with her soon and take you guys along with us. Yeah,
take a little branch into van life.
Yeah.
Which is a minor part of our lives, but it's still important.
For sure.
You just pick it up. This is Caitlin's baby as she makes her way into the shot.
Well, before we moved up here full time, the things that we definitely needed were rainwater and power.
Yeah.
So before we ever moved up here, we came up one weekend, brought our camper, set up the rainwater system because we knew we couldn't move up here with 30 gallons of water, which is what the camper holds. So basically, we set that up one weekend. We had planned to set up the solar, but as you know, everything takes quite a bit longer than you expect. Yep. Literally double is what we've learned.
That's about right.
So originally we had this, you'll have to excuse it,
we call her Jandis and she is wilding.
Yeah, Jandis is wilding. So originally we had a small setup over here in this cleared area where there was no gravel or anything before. It was just where they had excavated the property and pushed a bunch of logs and everything over. we threw, or I guess I was up here when I did that.
You were solo.
Yeah, I threw up a really quick stand, knowing that it wasn't the permanent solution, but we needed to be able to get power and start charging our batteries and everything. So we threw that up really quick. Originally we were going to put the solar panels on the house, but we've been here a year and a half and we haven't broken ground, so we needed to figure out a better solution to get solar. So these are 200 watt. There's 6 panels, 200 watt panels.
They're 12 volt panels.
12 volt, wired for 24 volt.
Correct.
Because we have a 24 volt system. There's a small panel on the bottom there that just keeps this battery down here charged, which works for the little mechanisms that cause it to move. So basically it's a sun tracker. So in the morning it starts over here, and we're kind of set up perfectly for solar the way that our property is.
So it faces almost directly south.
Almost directly south, yeah. When we bought this property and we looked at this property, we kind of looked into like if it was south facing or not, but it wasn't like a huge thing that we looked into. But having not thought anything about it, we couldn't have picked a better property.
Yeah. If you're from the mountains, you know what we're talking about. In the Midwest.
But honestly, it's been the perfect setup.
Yep.
Especially since we've added this. I'll put a picture of what the old stand looked like. It was just basically treated lumber that we threw together and made a quick stand so that we could start getting power.
Which it worked fine.
Yeah, we worked on that for like, what, 8 months, a year?
Right at, yeah. But
getting this has changed everything. We get 40% more power, because before the sun, we'd start getting sun like maybe 11 o'clock.
That's about right, 11 in the morning on average.
Depending on clouds and everything. And then by, what time is it now?
It was usually by about 3 or 4 o'clock the sun started to kind of tinker down, because it was kind of crossing the panels at a sideways angle, so you're not getting the efficient exposure. And
so now we're able to get sun as early as 9:30, at least in the summer. Winter, we'll see how it goes, because we haven't had this set up in the winter. All the way until about 6:37, depending on when the sun goes down. So it's been a game changer. We should have done this from the start.
Oh yeah. And if you're solar applications.
And we also, you know, as far as wind's concerned, we do get a lot of wind up here. We're on top of a mountain. The wind comes up through the valley, and it's been pretty windy today. Right now it's pretty calm. But there is a wind meter. I don't know how well you can see it.
Probably great now, because the sun just came out.
Yeah, so if that gets up to a certain RPM, essentially, the panels will set themselves flat to prevent any damage from the wind trying to uplift. It is set in a concrete sonotube. Well, there's a concrete sonotube in the ground. I can't remember how deep we went, with a couple feet.
I think we went 3 feet.
Yeah, and then it's basically screwed on top of that. So far we haven't had any issues. We've had some pretty gnarly storms and nothing's happened. So
the storms are pretty rare. Storms are pretty rare, but they can get winds up to 80, 90 miles an hour. And, you know, this thing being able to self-correct when we don't want to go out in it is crucial.
Yeah, it does claim it can withstand hurricanes. I don't know if I believe that. We don't get hurricanes here, so.
Yeah.
There are chances of tornadoes, but typically it's pretty rare on top of the mountain.
It's very minor.
Yeah, so that's our solar setup. As far as the solar panels.
Welcome to the outdoor kitchen setup. So one of the things we figured out when we moved here initially, because this was just bare land with some minimal improvements, is that we needed some space. So we had a camper. It's great. You'll see that in a second, but it was tough trying to cook in there, and it always smelling like the food we cooked for 24, 48 hours. And we knew we wanted some space to kind of, again, enjoy nature. So we built this outdoor kitchen to kind of maximize our use of outdoor spaces when the weather is nice. That's a kicker. So it's a pretty simple setup. We've had this little Coleman stove for a while. We got it back like 2 campers ago when we were camping in pop-up still. And we've added to it since then. So we've got some drawer organizers to keep some miscellaneous utensils. And
most of the things in there need to be washed before we use them, because they are out in the weather. But for the most part, it helps keep it clean. We've got a little pellet smoker here that we use quite a bit.
That's a new addition, by the way.
Yeah, it's been a game changer.
Been crazy.
And then, of course, our Blackstone here, which it's great. I mean, we don't love to cook out here in the winter, just because it is so cold and so humid and cold. But this is, I mean, we cook out here all the time. We could literally make every meal in the Blackstone if we wanted to.
Yep. So we love to make breakfast foods and burgers and miscellaneous things, and having a griddle top has been huge. And it also increases our cook space by probably 3 times.
We also added some lights out here that we plug into our little Ryobi battery to light it up at night if we're cooking, and those have been really nice. It's a nice little ambiance too.
It does. It creates a nice little feeling out here. And then behind this outdoor kitchen is what looks like a lawn, but this is actually kind of labor of obligation, because this is actually where our septic field is.
This is the only thing that we paid someone to come out and do, was the septic. We were not willing to try and do that ourselves.
For that matter. So
yeah.
We had this installed, a little bit of an opportunity to have a yard. And
yeah, we weren't originally going to have grass here because maintenance, we have to mow it. We do have 2 dogs, so we decided to go ahead and put grass here because we do have clay soil, and when it rains, that is slicker than snot, and I can't tell you how many times I've busted my butt on it.
Yep.
So we actually decided to go ahead and sow grass, and it's actually worked out really well. You know, we run on rainwater, so we don't really have excess water necessarily at all times to be able to water it. But because this is our drain field, it kind of is self-contained and waters itself to some extent. So basically we self-fertilize our lawn. It wasn't necessarily the plan, but it's worked out.
It worked really nice.
Yeah. Also, take a look at the view from this angle.
There you go.
Right now, with the sun hitting it really nicely. You know, we owned a camper before we moved up here. We knew if we were going to get, hopefully the wind's not too much of a problem right now. We knew if we were going to be able to actually build out the property in the way that we wanted to, that we were going to have to live here full time. So we brought the camper up here the first week and we closed on the property. But we were kind of traveling back and forth for a couple of months just with some things going on in our life at the time. It's not a large area, but honestly, we hardly ever spend time in the camper. We cook in there in the winter and we sleep in there and use the bathroom, and that's pretty much it. So this shed you'll see right here, which it's a really nice shed. I should be showing it.
It is. I'm just adjusting it so they can fully see.
This was actually here when we bought the property, so it was just a bare shed. It basically was a shell. There was no flooring. You know, obviously it had studs and all that. The windows and door were all there.
Thanks, nature.
Like the wind is today to come out here.
We did.
So basically, we liked the property for a lot of reasons. One of the reasons is it already had a shelter, which was really nice. And what we've done is Patrick works from home, so we've created an office space for him, also a living room space, because as much as we love our camper, there's really nowhere to lounge unless you're in the bed, which I can't sit in bed all day.
It doesn't work out well trying to lay around in a camper all day.
Unless I'm sick, then But so we wanted to have a separate space because, again, you know, we don't have a ton of space here. We're living pretty small and minimal, I guess, for the most part.
Yep.
But we did want to have a space that we were able to just relax, feel more homey, and there's been a lot of different iterations.
It's gone through some involvement for sure.
For a while, it was our workshop, Patrick's office, the living room, a lot of different things. But
storage.
And it's going to continue to evolve as we build a house and everything else. But it'll always be his office. But yeah, it's been a great addition, and especially where it's at now. As you can see, we did add 4 more solar panels up there recently. So that was to help. We added a new refrigerator in there, so we were we're using a lot more power, and we're having to run the generator a lot. So by doing that, we haven't had to run the generator but a handful of times since we've installed
3 times
those,
in the last month and a half,
which is really good.
So it was a weird kind of tug of war between what we could produce and what we were consuming.
So those are also 200 watt panels, so we added 800 watts for our system, which has been a game changer.
It's been huge.
So yeah, that's that. We'll take you on a quick little tour of both of these areas.
Yeah. You'll also notice a couple of antennas on top. We kind of look like a weather station.
Oh yeah.
Those include a cellular extender because the cell signal up here is not great. With that thing, we get full 4 bars, 5GE, and we also added Starlink. One thing we could probably talk about more in the future is power and the internet, but in a short story, there's internet at the road at the end of our driveway, but it kind of takes pulling teeth to get it run to your house.
Well, basically, if you don't have power here, you have to run underground, and it's very expensive. So Starlink's the way to go, in my opinion, anyway.
It really has been phenomenal.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of trial and error with it. You know, we had it mounted to the shed before, and all of these trees back here block the signal. That's the only downside to it, because it is north facing. If it were south facing, we'd be in really good shape, but it does face north to pick up satellites. So it's been a little challenge. Since we put it on this pole over here, though, we've had like 0 interruptions. It's been extremely fast. In the winter, it's a little bit better too because all the leaves fall off the trees, so that also helps as well. But we'll give you a quick tour. both the camper and the office there, and then we'll keep moving on.
It started.
You started it?
Yeah, we can trim it.
This is our camper.
Full disclaimer, we switched to our phone because the GoPro battery was kind of slacking.
But yeah, so this is our queen size bed where we sleep every night. We do have a little TV over there, but we really don't use it very often. Of course, we got farm fresh eggs from our neighbor because that is a must.
Absolutely.
When you're living off grid. But we have quite a bit of windows in here. It stays really warm in the winter. We do have AC. We don't really use it very often because it does take a lot of power. So we usually open all the windows. Don't show it too much.
No showing all of it. Got to keep some secrets.
So we kind of open the windows in the summer, and then we have these vents that we open up, turn on the fan, and that really does a really good job of keeping the hot air out because heat rises, obviously.
Yeah, it circulates the air really, really well.
And of course, we have a little dinette that we never use.
Literally. It's our home to our espresso machine.
Of course, we have a little sink area with running water, which is really nice. I didn't turn it all the way, so the pressure was terrible. We have our Berkey. We filter all of our rainwater, of course, but for drinking water, we do filter it one more time just to be safe. Of course, we have some food storage up here, a microwave, which we don't use a ton, but it is nice to have if you're heating up food or whatever.
It's good in a pinch. Takes a ton of power, though.
Yeah, but you don't use it very long, so. Under here is actually our stovetop. It's kind of gross, so we just covered it up for you guys. And then we actually have 2 bunk beds here, but we don't ever use them as beds. We use them for storage. So we've got, food storage up here, all our paper goods and things. Of course, we have some more storage up there as well. And then underneath here, you don't have to show it too close.
I'm not going to show you too close because that's dirty laundry. It's actually clean laundry, but
it's not dirty. We have basically those. Well, you can show them the.
I kind of showed.
Okay. We just have organizers for all of our clothes because there's not a lot of storage in here. We bought this property. We didn't just buy this because we bought the property, which worked out very nicely. But
yeah, it was very fortuitous.
But yeah, so we have all this storage now. If we do have people coming up to stay, of course we've got the van they can stay in if the weather's pretty decent. But we can convert this. Both the mattresses are up here, so we can convert this into a bunk bed for people. Just kind of keep all this stuff in our workshop, so that's out of the way. Not food, but And then, of course, I've got a pretty decent sized fridge and freezer for this size camper.
It's nearly full size, but not quite.
In this size camper, I think it's an 18-foot. You typically only have like an apartment style fridge, or this is an apartment style fridge.
No, that's bigger.
You have like a what's it called?
It's like a dorm fridge.
A dorm fridge, like this size. But this was actually pretty nice. Which, we didn't know we were going to live in this camper when we bought it, but I'm really glad we bought this camper instead of some others we looked at because they did have like dorm style fridges, and that'd be really hard to live out of. Of course, we have our bathroom here. It's pretty small, but
I'll show you a sneak peek because it is a very basic space.
Yeah, so you have obviously your toilet here. And you do have a tub, which is kind of nice. We don't, obviously not for us, but like if you had kids or if you wanted to wash your dogs, it's nice. And then there's another vent fan up there. And there's of course lighting in there as well.
It's a very simple space, but it's met our needs really well, and it's been kind of clutch to have a moving, basically house to put up here when we were kind of in a clutch situation of moving up here with nothing developed yet.
Yeah, we don't have to live in a tent, essentially.
Exactly.
So, let's show the inside of the shed. Don't mind the dogs, hopefully they don't freak out.
Oh yeah, we should let Pug out. There's Axel. Axel, come here.
That's our Axel boy. He's a
Black Lab Beagle mix as far as we know.
We think.
What we were told.
Is Pug. His name is Max.
Chunka.
Bro.
Going out.
The building that was here before. So when we bought this place, it was just a shell of a building. Just studs and a plywood floor. We've adapted it like crazy. Some things we brought from our last house, like this dog crate that we had built a few years ago. It's kind of doubled as not only dog crate space, but also storage space at some point, and it now houses some of our solar components, which you can see batteries, inverter, charge controllers. If you want to know more about our system, we'd be more than glad to go through a video of it. We've learned a lot in the last year and a half about how solar works.
So far away. Okay, you're back.
Good. All right. In addition to our solar, we've got a basic breaker box with some of our breakers. There's not a whole lot because this space doesn't have a whole lot going on. This is wired to also accept generator power, so it charges primarily from the solar panels out there and up here, but we've also got a generator input, which is our backup power in case we have really cloudy days or we need a little extra boost.
It's also where we make our coffee in the morning.
That's my coffee station because
and then we also have our Goal Zero here. This is just a portable station that we can take if we want to watch the projector on the deck or anywhere that we need power on the property. It's only, I think, 500 watts, so it's not anything crazy, but it does allow us to be able to take power with us.
Beyond that, we have our little makeshift living room, like the wall heater. So the propane wall heater was clutch last winter. It gets really cold up here. We had some days in the negative teens last year with the big polar vortex going on. So we needed a way to heat this space, which thankfully it's small, and this has plenty of BTU output to heat the space.
More than enough.
More than enough.
One thing we also added in here is this retractable screen. This has been really clutch for those days where it's not really hot or really cold, so we don't have to run really anything, but we can enjoy the whatever temperature is outside. So that's been really nice. The dogs have enjoyed it. Sometimes they run through it on accident. Also, another thing that was really nice about the door that came with the shed, it has a built-in screen. There's Mr. Pugga. Our built-in shade, I guess. So that's really nice. The sun beats through here during the day, so we typically keep it closed, but it also allows us to let a lot of natural light in this, because we actually counted the other day, there's 13 windows in this shed, which is a lot.
A shocking amount for a 10 by 12 shed.
Yeah. It's 12 by 12 or 12 by 14 or 10?
10 by 12.
Okay. All right, show me your office area.
This is my office area in all its glory. No, we again, I work from home, as Caitlin mentioned, so we needed a dedicated space for me to actually get work done that was kind of out of sight, out of mind for the rest. So this is the setup. I've got my monitor, my computer, everything that I need, including a dedicated plug for all of my computer components and spaces for all of my miscellaneous.
We added this fridge recently so that we have extra storage for drinks and extra freezer space. And then we also, out of leftover lumber that we had, built kind of like a pantry area where we have our air fryer in here that we can, toaster oven essentially, and then
this is our extra living space.
This is the shed. The nice thing to it is a single pitch roof, so the roof over there is probably at least 9 feet tall, I would say.
On this front edge?
Yeah, or maybe 10.
I'm 5'9", so you can kind of figure out how much.
Yeah, it just makes it feel a lot bigger than it actually is, I think, because it's not a flat roof, it's not a whatever. But we did add a fan up here. At some point, we'll probably do a little overview of all of our solar setup and everything. But yeah, this video is just a tour, so we're not going to go into too much detail. But if you guys have any questions about any of this stuff or want to know more information, shoot us some comments, some questions, and
yeah, we'll do a Q&A.
Yeah, we can come through and do a little bit more detail of everything we're showing you guys. Go see your daddy.
Hey, come here. What are you doing? My sweet boy.
Where'd Axel go?
Who knows? It's our old man. It's my old man.
Axel, come here. Come here. Hi, sweet boy. Come here. It's our other old man. Not quite as old.
Not quite.
All right, let's go inside.
Zoom me.
Good job, bud. Go see brother.
You're filming.
Alright, so this is actually rock that came out of our, when they excavated this area for the septic, there were a lot of, what are they?
I think it's sandstone. I'm not a geologist, so don't quote me on that.
But we had a lot of excess rock and we weren't really sure what to do with it. Before we got the grass here, we were like, we need a way to walk to the back of this area of our property to where we're not slipping and sliding and getting our feet dirty all the time. So we added this here, which has been really nice. It still looks pretty good. We just kind of threw them on the ground. We didn't set them or level them or anything, but it was free. It was a lot of work, but
It was a lot of work that she mostly did. Yeah, you're videoing.
All right, so these are our two 275 gallon IBC totes. We bought them new. We were a little leery of buying used ones, even if they only had water in them, because you just never really know what someone's put in these. They are quite expensive new. But basically we have the first one here. Of course, we did have to put a metal roof on this. That's the only thing that we had to change about it. It was asphalt roof before, which is not ideal for rainwater catchment. And then obviously we put a gutter up there to blood, but that's fine. We also put gutter guards up there as well to help with any leaves. We did have 2 large trees here before that kind of dumped leaves and sticks on top. So that's kind of the first little bit of filtering, I guess, if you will. And then we also have on this side the leaf eater. So basically anything that comes out of here, it's going to get stuck. And we'll show you that in a minute when we go to the pump house. And then it filters right into here. We have another mesh filter on top of the tank as well, just as a little, just to help with any kind of sediment that may end up in here. Once this is full, there is a Pex line. You can kind of see that runs over to here, fills this tank up as well. Originally we had the 1 tank and then we added the second one, which has been really nice because as much rain as we do get here and we're able to catch, October is typically a really dry month. Last October, I'm not sure we really got any rain at all.
I don't think we got any for the whole month.
Yeah, maybe a sprinkle or 2. So it allows us to be able to be stocked up on water in case of like a month or 2 where there's, you know, not much rain. So we'll show you a little bit more of that when we move over there. And then here we've got our generator. So like Patrick said, we're able to basically just turn this on and it automatically starts charging our batteries at night when, you know, we don't have a lot of sun during the day and we're needing to run whatever it is at night. We're able to do that. We can also directly plug it into the shed here. We'll show you that when we get over there as well. But basically we can run directly off of the generator if something was to go wrong with our solar power, or we're able to charge the batteries off this. So this is a really nice thing to have. It's a Westinghouse. What is it? Oh, I should probably turn it off.
WGen 9500 is the model.
Yeah, it's a 12,500 peak watt, 9,500 running watts. You basically have to have double what your capacity on your batteries is to be able to charge them safely. So we did have to get a new generator for that, but this thing's been really nice. And then we just kind of threw this together. Oh,
Did you cut yourself?
a little bit. We just kind of threw this together to be able to keep it out of the weather, but not have to truck it around every time we need it. Because, like we said, there for a while we were running this almost daily, just because we weren't able to keep up with our consumption with everything. The camper is always plugged into the solar system, so. But yeah, this has been nice. There's plenty of room for it to breathe, so it doesn't get carbon monoxide all stuck in all the places.
Or heat buildup from the... Now we are.
All right, so this is our, again, the other side of the water setup. So this is our leaf eater. Basically any leaves or debris that can get caught coming off of the gutter will go into there, clean that out. Probably not as often as we should.
It gets big particulates, but like Caitlin said, there's a little mesh filter inside of the top of that IBC tote that catches the small stuff.
A couple, like once a month or so, but all the water just runs through this PVC into the tanks, and then down from here is where the tanks are connected.
Let's see if I can get a closer shot.
There's 2 tanks, of course. We kind of insulated them. In the winter, we usually keep these turned off and closed out because we don't directly tie the pump house into the camper at the time. We just fill up the 30-gallon tank. But these go underground here. I think it's 18 inches.
That is correct.
And then they come up through the pump house here. But basically, it's just a very simple setup right now. I mean, as we build the house, it'll probably change a little, but the water comes up through here from the tanks, goes to a little strainer, into just a 12-volt
on-demand pump.
Yeah, goes into our 3 system.
It's a whole house filtration system.
And it's massive. We had no idea it was this big when we ordered it. But it's basically 2 charcoal and...
It's a 1 sediment filter.
Yeah. So it filters through all of that, and then we do need to get a UV filter. That's one thing we have not done yet.
Future update,
yeah.
Maybe another video.
Well, we just added power in here recently as well. Before we didn't have that. And then if you want to give me this.
Yeah, you can show them.
So we do have a small Mr. Buddy heater in here. Basically, when it's below freezing, what we do is just kick on the pilot light, and that keeps it about 60 degrees in here, which has been really nice to keep it from, you know, freezing up pipes or anything. Of course, we have pipe insulation, but that only goes so far, and then insulation in the walls as well. We do have a meter here. The only reason we have that is just to track our usage. We did have one freeze over last winter when we were not here, so this is a new one. So we've used, I think there was 800 on the old one, so a few thousand gallons, which is pretty good considering, in almost 2 years. Well, actually, we didn't build the pump house till August of last year.
That was only like a couple months after we moved.
Yeah, we'll show you some videos of how we were getting water to our camper before that. It was a little sketch, but it worked. And then we have a leak detector down there, so that's set to Bluetooth, or actually I think it's set to Wi-Fi. So if water gets down there, it will notify us. But yeah, but you can also hear the pump kick on, so that's nice. If it's not supposed to be on, you'll know. And yeah, so we did add power out here pretty recently, which is nice if you need to come out at night. But it also allows us to run the pump off of the solar as well. And then basically you just come out here, turn on the water, and
The pump kick on.
got water.
And you can hear the on-demand pump running.
Yeah. All right, don't waste too much. We're pretty full up on water, which is nice, but we still try to conserve it. And as you can see, we have another line here that goes directly into the city water on our camper, and basically that allows us to pull water directly from these tanks filtered at any given moment, which has been really nice. And of course we've got our 30 amp breaker here that runs all the power to the camper from the solar. This is kind of a temporary pole. We're gonna have to move the camper over there once we start building the house, so we'll have to reconfigure all that, but that is that pretty much. And then you can see our line going to the generator back there. This is how we can power everything on the property with just the generator power and not the solar, but this is how we charge it. When we first moved up here, we knew we wanted to do an outdoor shower. We didn't get around to it until this summer, but it has been very nice to have. So basically, it's basically just like Camp Lux outdoor shower. We leave it here. In the winter, we will have to winterize this and put it away because, I think there's a way to winterize it, but we're not going to take showers out here in the winter, so it's totally fine.
It's already pushing the limits of too cold to be out here when the wind's blowing.
Yeah, but we've got a little mirror so Patrick can shave out here and not get hair all over the camper. You'll notice we have a little solar panel up there. There's a car battery back here that basically runs a 12-volt pump that pumps the water up into here. There's also a gas line. You'll notice we'll show you all the components back there. It's just running to a 20-pound propane tank. And that's what heats it, is instant heat, so it's really nice. This is a piece of maple that we milled from a tree that we cut down a few months back.
Get a better view of it.
But it's a really nice addition, and we just basically put some varnish on it to keep it clean, and it even has a natural hook there, which is kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we also have it wired to a switch here. This is a pressure pump, so we didn't want to, in case of a leak, it just
get around you.
basically wastes all of our water. So we just wired in a little switch.
This also helps save the battery too.
Yeah.
We can just turn it on and off.
Basically, when you're ready to shower, just hit that, kicks on, it gets hot almost instantly, which is really nice. You can turn it off when you're done. Of course, you can leave it up there too. And then when you're done with that, you just flip the switch off so that you're not wasting any water or battery if you're not using it. And we do have a lot of leaves. So basically the water from this comes from our shed back here. That is our workshop. So we put a 50 gallon water tank back here. As you can see, this is why we need to winterize it this year, because it is just all exposed.
A lot of external pipes.
Yeah, and I don't think we're gonna shower back here in the winter. Well, we definitely won't, because it'll be winterized. But basically, water comes out of here. There's a small little sediment filter, and there's a 12-volt pump in here, along with a car battery. We've got a little filter, just a little RV filter. You get your gas tank. And then we've got, of course, the decking, which is just composite decking. And you got your soap in here so that it doesn't melt or get wet when it rains. And some hooks for your towels. But yeah, it's been a nice addition. Of course, we've got lights out here as well. If you want to take a shower at night, they just come on with their solar powered.
These are run off this itty bitty solar power down there.
Yep.
Side view of the office / living room. Kind of see how it's all laid out from here. And then last but not least,
my workshop. We probably should have unlocked this.
probably. One thing that she'll get into in a moment was we do have another water catchment system on the side of here and where we store all of our gas as well. And that solar panel and that water catchment will become important here in just a moment.
Yeah, we'll use it.
Welcome to the shop.
So this is our workshop / office, or my office.
Well, this is her office.
Yeah. Pretty sure to tidy it up a little bit. But, you know,
We've had projects going on. It's been busy.
So we do have extra clothes here. We did actually, shockingly enough, get rid of a lot of our clothing before we moved, but
Somehow.
we don't really use any of this, so we might need to figure out a better solution. But yeah, so we got some clothing over here. Pat travels for work a lot, so his suitcase. I had to store these in here because it was supposed to rain.
Some unpressured or untreated lumber.
But yeah, we built some shelving. Of course, we got a little mower for our yard out there. Tried to, you know, organize this stuff pretty well, but I don't know if it's organized or not.
Obviously, we live small, so it's hard to figure out space usage.
But this seemed like a good, just have like our little workbench. This thing's been really nice. It looks kind of crazy, chaotic, and busy, which it is, but I know where everything's at, so that's the important part.
It's messy because we just finished the deck, like 3 days ago?
Yeah.
So
Finished the cabling and all that. But yeah, so we just have like tool storage here. Obviously big Ryobi fans because of the cost. They're pretty good.
And the fact that we've got like 8 million batteries.
Yeah, that helps too. So, but yeah, like Pat was mentioning, the water out there, the reason we have that is I got tired of going to laundromat. So we got a washer dryer combo, and the way that runs, it runs off of the water tank out there. Again, we have it to a switch, and basically RV pump, 12 volt pump that fills this up, also pumps the water into it. We've got a little filter on there as well to help keep it clean. We don't have power run out to the shed. We have a small generator back here that we will run this on sometimes. Now that we have a little more power usage, we actually have been just plugging it into the plug for the work or the office. So that's been nice. We've just been running on solar power, but with it being warm in summer, mostly outside, because it's a lot quicker. It does take about 3 hours to wash and dry cycle. But it's been really nice. It doesn't take up a lot of space. We just kind of leave it open to air out.
It's pretty reasonable on power.
Yeah, it really is. It only takes, I mean, at peak, it probably takes 900 watts, but it's usually not there for long. It's mostly, I'd say on average, like 300 watts.
If that.
It's going, yeah. It is very loud, though. We did, as you can see.
Yes.
We kind of blocked it in here because the first time we used it, it sounded like a helicopter was going overhead, which is not uncommon.
And it literally tried to run away.
Yeah, it walked all over the shed. So now it's secure. We added some foam so it wouldn't get damaged because this will eventually go in our house. And then on that door I just opened, there's actually a little retractable.
Let's see if you can see it.
Line.
Right here.
If
so this
the weather's not great, we're able to
pulls out.
put that in there and then have a few clothes hanging. So that's pretty much the workshop. It's been a great space to keep our tools. Before we had them, you know, in Pat's office, and that was hectic. He was in a lot of meetings all day, so I was coming and going, grabbing tools while he was working. And
okay, filming.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we really appreciate you watching our
Yes.
first ever video.
Hopefully
Hopefully
this-
you enjoyed it.
And it wasn't too awkward.
Hopefully we'll get better about
We'll
that.
get better. And hopefully there will be plenty more videos to come. If you guys have questions about anything going on up here or want more details, put them in the comments. And if you feel so inclined, like, share, subscribe. And
Hopefully we'll have some more videos soon. We've got a lot of projects we planned this winter, and
this is
yeah,
working
if you guys have
season.
any comment or questions about any of this or want us to go into more detail, which we probably will go into more detail in another video about the solar and then also the water setup as well, just to give you guys a little bit better idea of how all that works. But obviously we don't want to do too long a video. We just want to show an overview of everything. But yeah, if you have questions, we'd love to hear them, and hopefully we can answer those.
We will.
And yeah,
Until next time.
you guys watching.
Yeah, thanks.